I grew up overweight my whole life. And when I wanted to start fitness, I understood that dieting good would equate to 70 to 80% of the results that I got. And I was absolutely right. But the problem was one fitness influencer would tell me to do carnivore, and one fitness influencer would tell me to do vegetarian, and one would tell me to do keto. And it was all over the place, and overall I was confused. And so in this video, I'm gonna tell you the #1 diet that I used to lose 60 pounds of fat and turn me from this to this. I'm also going to be telling you the science behind why this diet will help you lose fat. The first thing is we need to understand how fat loss actually happens, right? So basically there's two scientific principles we want to look at here, and I'm going to explain them really quickly. The first one is the law of thermodynamics, and this just states that energy cannot be created and energy cannot be destroyed. Okay, next is the principle of mass energy equivalence, and this just means that mass can be turned into energy and energy can be turned into mass. So when you eat food, which is mass, your body turns that mass into energy, right? According to the second law, that's possible. Your body then uses that energy to breathe, walk, move, for your heart to beat, for your organs to work, for you to live, right? And that's basically the energy being converted from one form to another. And then any extra energy that you eat throughout that day through food, your body will then turn back into mass and store it as body fat, okay? And in the same way, if you don't eat enough energy from food, your body will take fat that it previously stored as mass and it will convert that back into energy to use, right? And that's how fat actually gets burned, okay? So the next thing to know just is the unit of energy that we use to measure the energy we get from food is called calories, right? So food isn't actually calories itself. Food is mass, and when we eat that mass, our body converts it into a certain amount worth of calories, right? So that's why we say this food has 500 calories in it and whatnot. So the purpose of all fat loss diets, like carnivore, vegetarian, keto, is to basically put you in a calorie deficit, which just means you're eating less calories than your body is using every day, right? And so there's two problems with these diets, and these two problems are why they don't work for a lot of people and why people don't actually lose fat on them, right? The first one is that the diet fails to actually put you in that calorie deficit. The second problem is that you don't consistently stick to the diet, right? So basically, if these two problems didn't exist, the diet would work, right? And so I have the diet that I used fixes both of these, right? So what is this diet? Okay. Basically, you're gonna eat 80% whole foods and 20% whatever you want, okay? Now, as you progress, you can start dropping the 20% to 10% or 5% and eat 95% whole foods or even 100% whole foods if you can stick to it. But the purpose of this 80-20 rule is to keep you consistent, right? Because if you're still eating the foods you like to eat, you're gonna be consistent. You're not gonna break your diet, right? So this solves the first problem. The second problem is that the diet fails to put you in a calorie deficit, right? So how are we gonna fix this problem? Because if we're eating 20% of whatever we want, that could be junk food, high in calories, right? So how are we going to fix this problem of the diet not putting you in a calorie deficit? Track your calories. And I know there's one motherfucker out there that just said, tracking your calories is an eating disorder and it's too restrictive for me. I would actually argue that tracking your calories is less restrictive than not tracking them. And I'll explain what I mean by this. I'm gonna give you two scenarios. The first one, you're not tracking your calories. The second one, you're tracking them. In the first one, if you are actually serious about losing weight and you're not tracking your calories, so you don't know whether you're in a calorie deficit or not, what you're gonna do is you're gonna eat 100% healthy foods because you wanna eat as little calories as possible or as little food as possible. And you're going to basically just try to eat as little food as possible throughout the day, okay? That sounds more like an eating disorder than the other option, right? And you're gonna be uncertain. With the second option, tracking your calories, you're gonna be able to eat more than the first one, right? Because you're gonna know, 2,000 calories is my calorie deficit. You're gonna be able to eat those 2,000 calories and you're gonna be able to eat what foods you want, right? So how do we be in a calorie deficit? If you don't know what your maintenance calories are, there's calorie calculators that can just tell you. You just put in your metrics and it'll tell you what your maintenance calories are, and I'll link one in the description. And basically, you eat 300 calories less than whatever it says your maintenance calories are. And if you don't lose weight, then that means the estimate was wrong and you need to drop your calories a little bit more and see if that is a calorie deficit for you. And if you do this, you will stick to the diet and you will lose weight because you're in a calorie deficit. I hope this video was helpful. Subscribe to the channel for more fitness content, and I'll see you in the next one.